Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. Welcome to Medicine for the Soul. This is baby and me. So today you'll need your baby and a folded blanket or two and a couple of blocks or anything that you use for blocks. Today I am using my teddy bear as my baby. Hope you guys don't mind. Let's get started. Welcome to Baby and Me, and if you're me, it's Teddy Bear and Me. So I'll be using a teddy bear as my prop today. The first 3 months after giving birth are lovingly called the fourth trimester, and that is because your baby is still pretty much attached to you. They're either on you or they want to be right next to you where they can see you nice and close. So this is going to allow you to get a little bit of movement in while satisfying your baby's need to just be on you all the time. So for our practice, we'll either be holding the baby or the baby will be right close by. And so for getting started, you can place your baby on a blanket or in their baby seat, or you can bring them right onto your lap. We're going to get started in a seated position. If you do have an extra folded blanket, it's good to place that right under your hips so your sits bones are right at the edge of the blanket, just kind of propping up your pelvis so it's in an upright position. And we'll get started just by inhaling, arms up. And at the top, left hand grabs your right wrist and exhale over to the left. And coming back to center, releasing. And again, inhale, arms up. Right hand grabs your left wrist. Exhale over to the right, gaze left. And coming back to center, shake it out a little bit. And let's give our neck a nice stretch. So bring your right hand all the way over to your left ear. Give yourself a nice big inhale through the nose. And exhale, just gently. Bring your right ear over to your right shoulder. If you want a little bit of a deeper stretch, bring your left arm behind your back so that the back of your hand is on your body. And you'll feel a little bit of a deeper stretch. We're always kind of hunched down or hunched over or looking at our baby or breastfeeding, or even if you're bottle feeding, you still find yourself in really weird positions at this time in your life. You can release and switch. So it's always good to just, when you can, give yourself a nice little neck, shoulder, and upper back stretch. Really breathe into it. And release. And let's bring our right leg out towards the right, and you can even do this right in front of your baby if you would like. And you can stay here if this is a nice enough stretch for you, or you can inhale your left arm up and exhale, reach over to the right and gaze left. And come back to center on an exhale and switch sides. Again, staying right here if this feels good for you today, or you can inhale, right arm up, and exhale over to the left and gaze right. Nice deep breaths into your side body. And coming back to an upright position on an exhale. And now coming into child's pose, you can actually bring your baby, if they're awake and wanting to hang out with you, you can bring them right into the middle of your mat and kind of do child's pose over them. Or you can, if they're in a little more of a playful phase, you can come into child's pose and just tickle their feet or give their little legs a massage. And take some nice deep breaths for yourself while you're here. Imagine your tailbone reaching down towards the mat. Crown of the head reaching up towards your baby. One more breath here. Coming up onto all fours. So our hips are over our knees, shoulders over wrists. And again, you can do this right over your baby for cat-cow. And this is kind of fun if your baby's a little bit older and can kind of understand peekaboo. You can incorporate that into your cat-cow. So inhale, drop the belly, lift the tailbone, gaze forward. And exhale, tuck the tailbone, gaze towards your belly button, and arch your back. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Coming back to a neutral spine for an inhale. Exhale, tucking your toes, push up and back to downward facing dog. You can do this right over your baby if you want. They can see you nice and close. Their vision isn't too great at first, so you really have to be nice and close for them to see you. And you can pedal your feet out. Whatever feels good here. Maybe shake your head out a little bit. Nod your head. Just loosen up a little bit. Then we're going to walk our feet. So we're in a forward fold. We're going to inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold again. Taking any movements here that feel good. Maybe shaking your head out. Maybe kind of swaying side to side. And put a bend in your knees. You can pick your baby up if they're wanting to be held. And slowly rise up one vertebrae at a time. So you're in a standing position, so you're in Tadasana, and your feet are about sits bones distance apart. So we're going to be coming into a chair pose. So you can bring your baby out in front on the inhale, exhale, back into chair pose, take an inhale, and exhale, come back up to Tadasana. Inhale, baby out. Exhale, pushing back into chair pose. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, back into Tadasana. One more time. Inhale, arms out. Exhale into chair pose. Make sure you can still see your toes. Inhale. And exhale into Tadasana. And so let's inhale, bring your left knee out in front, lifting your foot off of the mat. Exhale, stepping back into a warrior one. Being sure to just kind of shorten your stance while we're in a postpartum body here. And you can point your toes, your back toes out slightly. And once you're settled in here, you can kind of open twist to the left with your baby and come back to center. or you can just stay here and breathe, making sure your pelvis is nice and upright, hips facing the front of the mat. Give your shoulders a nice roll back and down. And one more inhale here. And exhale. Come back into Tadasana. Let's try that with the other side. Inhale, lifting your right foot off of the mat. Your knee comes out in front. And exhale, step back into Warrior One. Toes pointing out slightly. Your stance is a little bit shortened than what you're used to. And again, you can open twist to the right, making sure your hips are still facing forward. We're twisting on the exhale. We want to keep those open twists, just like we did in the prenatal series. And again, give your shoulders a nice roll back and down. One more big inhale. And exhale. Bring your right foot back into Tadasana. Inhale here. And exhale, tuck your chin and slowly roll down. Setting your baby back down in their chair or on their blanket. And an inhale down here at the bottom. Exhale, bring your belly button in towards your spine and roll up slowly one at a time. And roll your shoulders back and down at the top. So let's do a couple more of those roll downs. Really good for the spine, really good at kind of connecting to our core muscles. Might feel a little weird in there right now. Totally normal. Let's inhale, tuck the chin, exhale, roll down slowly, one vertebrae at a time, keeping a slight bend to your knees. Inhale at the bottom, exhale, bringing the belly button in towards your spine and rolling back up, one vertebrae at a time, until we're back into Tadasana. One more time. Inhale. Tuck the chin. Exhale. Roll down slowly, keeping a little micro bend in your knee. Inhale at the bottom. And exhale. Belly button towards the spine. Coming back up into Tadasana. And let's inhale, arms up. Exhale, step your left foot back into a Warrior One. Take an inhale here. And then on the exhale, we're going to come down. Make sure you have your blocks on either side of your mat. Exhale, we're going to come down over your baby, if they're on the mat with you, into a little bit of a modified airplane. So keeping that lifted leg active, heel pointing towards the back of your space. Nice deep breaths. It's okay if your standing leg has a bend in it. One more deep inhale. And exhale back into Warrior One. Inhale. And exhale back into Tadasana. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, right foot steps back into Warrior One. Choosing a modification that works for you, shortening your stance. Deep inhale here. And exhale, coming onto your blocks for a modified airplane. Again, keeping that lifted leg active, pointing your heel towards the back of your space, toes pointing towards the floor, saying hi to your baby. One more deep inhale. And exhale. Back into warrior one. Inhale. And exhale into Tadasana. Let's do one more roll down. We're going to come all the way down to the mat. So inhale here, tuck the chin, exhale, roll down. All the way to the mat. Bring your hands to the mat. Bring your knees to the mat. Bring them wide, coming into another child's pose. Nice deep breath. And coming back up onto all fours. Let's inhale, right arm up. And then on the exhale, we're going to thread the needle. So if you want to adjust yourself so that you can still see your baby, that's fine. And this is great for new moms as well, especially if you're breastfeeding. Great stretch. Everything gets so tense, especially if you're not getting much sleep, which is very difficult. And you can switch sides. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, thread through, bringing your left shoulder on the left side of your head to the mat. And coming back up to all fours. We're gonna switch to coming onto our backs, so you can bring your baby with you. We're gonna need at least one block while we're down there, so make sure you have a block handy. You can bring your baby with you, or you can have them just be nearby so that they can see you. We're gonna come into some pelvic tilts. So this is very subtle. I'm gonna set my teddy bear aside. You can have your baby sit on you or be right next to you. So we're gonna have our knees bent, feet flat on the mat, and if you can just kind of feel underneath your back, this is your neutral spine. So there's a little bit of space there. And so this is where we're gonna come back to, and then when we exhale, we're gonna flatten our back to the mat while tilting your pelvis back towards your chest. And while we do that, we're gonna be imagining drawing our hips together with our deep core muscles. So we're gonna be engaging these core muscles while using the visualization of kind of pulling our hips together. So let's try that. Inhale, neutral spine. Exhale, flatten your back, tilting your pelvis, drawing those hip bones together. Inhale, neutral spine, and exhale, flattening your back. Remember to relax your shoulders here. For some reason, that's always very difficult for me. And so continue at your own pace. This is a great movement to also incorporate your pelvic floor exercises if you're doing those currently, or if you're in pelvic floor therapy, which I recommend everyone do after they give birth. Let's just do one more breath here. And come back to a neutral spine. And so our last pose here is going to be a supported bridge. So we have our block. So bringing your block right underneath your tailbone, that flat part, your sacrum. You can have your baby sit right on top of you if you want. And this is it right here. So this is a wonderful kind of relief pose to give yourself. And if you want to, while you're in this pose, incorporate doing some pelvic floor exercises, like Kegels or toe taps, you can. It's really good to alleviate the pressure from your pelvic floor. Everything kind of just slides back a little bit, and it allows your body, if you are doing some pelvic floor exercises in this position, it allows your body to actually properly build back strength. So just laying in a position like this once or twice a day for a couple minutes can be very beneficial in rebuilding your core, rebuilding your pelvic floor. You can kind of play some games with your baby while doing this. And so if you are interested in doing any sort of strengthening in this pose, something that I always liked was the toe taps. So that's bringing one of your legs into a tabletop position, and on the inhale, bringing your toe down, keeping your leg bent, and exhale, bringing it back up, drawing those hips together, lifting your pelvic floor on the exhale, inhale, bringing your toe down, exhale, lifting your pelvic floor, drawing your hip bones together. And you do that a few times on each side. And when you're ready, you can take your prop out from underneath. Give your knees a nice squeeze. Rock side to side a little bit if that feels good. And you can take a nice long nap or shavasana with your baby. And getting up from a lying position postpartum, we should be rolling onto our sides, and then on our exhale, push the floor away and come up just like that to avoid any straining. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will hopefully see you next time.